Some video games entertain you for a few hours. Others do something much more powerful. They pull you so deeply into their worlds that real life fades away. You stop checking your phone, you lose track of time, and suddenly it's 3 a.m. Game researchers often describe this experience using terms like immersion, narrative transportation, and player involvement. Immersion happens when a game captures your senses, challenges your skills, and absorbs your imagination at the same time. Narrative transportation occurs when players become emotionally and mentally absorbed in a story world, and the most powerful ingredient of all is agency, the feeling that your actions truly matter inside the story. The games in this video combine those elements perfectly. They deliver deep storytelling, memorable characters, powerful worlds, and meaningful choices that make players forget the real world for hours. Here are some of the best story-driven video games ever made. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt released in 2015 by CD Projekt Red. The Witcher 3 is widely considered one of the most immersive RPGs ever created. The game places players in the role of Geralt of Rivia, a professional monster hunter searching for his adopted daughter in a war-torn fantasy world. What makes this game so absorbing is its incredible narrative density. Almost every quest feels like its own short story. Even small side missions often involve complex moral choices where there is no clear right answer. The world feels alive because the characters are believable. Villagers argue, soldiers fight wars, and political conflicts shape the events around you. Your choices also have real consequences. A decision you make early in the story can completely change events dozens of hours later. Combined with massive environments, detailed writing, and emotional character arcs, The Witcher 3 creates the feeling that you're living inside a fantasy novel rather than just playing a game. Red Dead Redemption 2 released in 2018 by Rockstar Games. Red Dead Redemption 2 tells one of the most cinematic stories ever created in gaming. The story follows Arthur Morgan, a member of the von der Linde gang during the final days of the American frontier. Unlike many open-world games that focus on fast action, this game takes a slow and deliberate storytelling approach. The world is incredibly detailed, animals behave realistically, weather changes dynamically, cities feel alive with NPC routines and interactions. But the heart of the game is its characters. Arthur Morgan's journey explores themes of loyalty, morality, and identity as the outlaw lifestyle begins to collapse around him. The game's powerful performances and emotional storytelling make the experience feel closer to a long cinematic drama series than a traditional video game. By the end, many players feel like they've spent weeks traveling with the gang. Disco Elysium released in 2019 by ZA/UM. Disco Elysium is one of the most unique narrative games ever created. You play as a detective suffering from severe memory loss who must solve a murder in the fictional city of Revachol. Unlike traditional RPGs, this game replaces combat with dialogue and psychological skill checks. Your character's personality traits literally become voices in your head. Skills like logic, empathy, and authority speak to you during conversations and influence how situations unfold. This creates an unusual form of player agency. The way you build your character determines how you think, what you say, and how you interpret the world. The game tackles complex themes such as politics, identity, addiction, and social class. Because the narrative is extremely dense and heavily dialogue-driven, players often become deeply absorbed in its philosophical storytelling. Disco Elysium proves that a game doesn't need action to be immersive. Writing alone can carry the experience. The Last of Us released in 2013 by Naughty Dog. The Last of Us is one of the most emotionally powerful stories in gaming. The game follows Joel and Ellie as they travel across a post-pandemic United States devastated by a fungal outbreak. At its core, the game is about human relationships. Joel begins as a hardened survivor who has emotionally shut himself off from the world. Ellie slowly breaks through that barrier. Their bond develops gradually through quiet conversations, shared dangers, and moments of vulnerability. The gameplay blends stealth, combat, and resource management, but the real strength lies in the storytelling. The pacing is extremely tight. Action sequences are carefully balanced with emotional scenes that deepen the characters. By the end of the journey, players aren't just finishing a game, they feel like they've shared a deeply personal story with two unforgettable characters. Mass Effect 2 released in 2010 by BioWare. Mass Effect 2 is widely regarded as one of the best character-driven RPGs ever made. Players take the role of Commander Shepard, assembling a team of specialists to stop a mysterious alien threat. The game's structure revolves around companion loyalty missions. Each crew member has their own backstory, personal conflicts, and motivations. Completing their missions mission strengthens relationships and influences the outcome of the story. This creates a narrative rhythm similar to a season of a television series, where each episode focuses on a different character. The final mission is heavily influenced by the choices you've made throughout the game. Because of this, players become emotionally invested in the survival of their crew. Mass Effect 2 shows how strong characters can transform a science fiction story into something deeply personal. BioShock, released in 2007 by Irrational Games. BioShock is famous for its incredible world building. The game takes place in Rapture, an underwater city built as a utopia for scientific and artistic freedom. But when players arrive, the city has collapsed into chaos. BioShock tells its story primarily through environmental storytelling. Audio logs, abandoned rooms, and scattered clues slowly reveal the downfall of Rapture's society. The themes explore ideology, control, and free will. One of the most famous twists in gaming history forces players to question the nature of choice inside video games. Combined with its haunting atmosphere and iconic setting, BioShock demonstrates how a location itself can become the main character of a story. Return of the Obra Dinn, released in 2018 by Lucas Pope. Return of the Obra Dinn offers one of the most original narrative structures ever designed. Players act as an insurance investigator examining a ghost ship where every crew member has mysteriously died. Using a magical pocket watch, you can briefly witness the exact moment of each person's death. Your goal is to determine who each crew member was and how they died. The game provides almost no direct answers. Instead, players must carefully observe clues and reconstruct the story through deduction. Because of this design, the narrative unfolds entirely through investigation. Players often become deeply focused as they piece together the complex mystery. It's a rare example of a game where the act of solving the story is the story itself. Journey, released in 2012 by That Game Company. Journey proves that a powerful narrative doesn't need dialogue. Players control a robed traveler crossing a vast desert toward a distant mountain. There are no spoken words and almost no user interface. Instead, the story unfolds through visual symbolism, music, and environmental design. Along the way, players may encounter another traveler controlled by a real person online. You cannot speak to each other. Communication happens only through musical chimes and movement. Despite this limitation, many players form surprisingly emotional connections during the journey. The experience is short, often around 2 hours, but its atmosphere and music create a powerful sense of wonder, solitude, and companionship. Story-driven games have evolved into one of the most powerful forms of interactive storytelling. The best ones combine deep narratives, believable characters, meaningful choices, and immersive worlds. Whether it's the massive fantasy landscapes of The Witcher 3, the emotional journey of The Last of Us, the philosophical writing of Disco Elysium, or the mysterious investigation in Return of the Obra Dinn, each of these games offers a unique kind of immersion. They prove that video games can do more than entertain. They can make us feel like we've lived another life. And when a game does that successfully, something interesting happens. You sit down to play for an hour, and suddenly you realize the entire evening is gone, because for a while you completely forgot about the real world. If you enjoyed this video, like the video and subscribe for more gaming discoveries.